Hi everyone, this is Abby from Mosalingua, and today I have a special guest here to help me with this video. Lisa Joy is one of our awesome English tutors. Hey Lisa Joy.
Hi Abby, all right?
Am I all right? Of course, why wouldn't I be? That must be a British English expression. Technically, Lisa Joy and I speak the same language, English. But sometimes it can feel like the American English and the British English dialects are worlds apart, and not just because of the accents. So stick around if you want to learn some key differences between the vocabulary people use in the United States
and across the pond, and avoid some seriously embarrassing misunderstandings.
If you like this topic and want to get a notification anytime we release a new video about language, be sure to subscribe to the Mosalingua YouTube channel and click that bell icon. So let's get into it. I want to start with one that you might already know: pants versus trousers. In the US, I could tell Lisa Joy, "Hey, I love your pants. Where did you get them from?"
But in the UK, I would be wondering, how could Abby see my pants when I clearly have trousers on over them?
You guessed it. In British English vocabulary, pants are what we call underwear or panties in American English. We also use the word trousers or slacks, but to refer specifically to nice pants. So now that the American is nice and embarrassed, here's an embarrassing mistake that some Brits make.
Asking Americans for rubber in class. It seems innocent enough. You made a mistake on your paper and need to erase it, right? Well, the classroom is not the time nor the place to use what the Americans will give you: a condom.
And if your teacher sees you exchanging those in class, they'll be pissed.
Pissed? In class? That's not very professional.
Hey, another difference between US and UK vocabulary. In American English, we use pissed as a somewhat rude way of saying that someone is angry.
But in British English, pissed means they've had too much to drink, which probably means they should be at their flat, not at school.
Flat. In American speak, we'd usually call that an apartment, one of many small residences inside a bigger building.
Speaking of flat, here goes another one. If an American goes and visits a friend in the UK who tells them that their flat is on the first floor, the American will most likely knock on the wrong door.
That's because in the US, the first floor is the floor you enter on. In the UK, that's called the ground floor. Once you finally make it to the right apartment or flat, your friend might offer you a snack. And there are, of course, differences in food vocabulary to watch out for too. If they ask if you'd like pudding, that just means dessert, the sweet ending to a meal. In the US, pudding is a specific type of dessert, something creamy that you eat with a spoon, which Brits might call custard. Other differences in food include cookie
and biscuits or chips
and French fries. These aren't just regional peculiarities, they also have separate meanings in one or both languages. In the US, if you order a biscuit, not only will you not get a cookie, but you'll get something else entirely, a fluffy southern pastry. And if you order chips, you'll get a different kind of fried potato than you're expecting, crunchy potato chips or crisps. Aside from pure vocabulary, expressions with prepositions are another tricky topic for language learners. And it's even more complicated in English because British and American English don't always use the same prepositions for the same expressions. For instance, I would say, What I did on the weekends in college is different from what my British friends did.
And I would say what I did at the weekend at university is different to what my American friend did.
Knowing subtle differences like these can take your fluency to the next level, but don't worry about them unless you're an advanced learner. That said, it won't hurt to take note of them if you observe them during your language immersion practice. Maybe you've already learned some.
When you said learned, it made me think of another difference between British and American vocabulary. We have a few more irregular verbs than you do. I would say learned.
That's a good point. In the US, words like dream, burn, and spill take the normal ed ending in the past tense, but they take a t ending in the UK. Speaking of spelling, don't forget these other changes. On the other hand, sometimes we have different vocabulary or spelling for the same thing, but you can often guess the meaning. For example, car park.
A British term to what American would call parking lot or parking garage. Or if I said, ugh, this baby needs his nappy changed.
It's pretty obvious that she's talking about the baby's diaper. PU. Context can help you a lot when you hear or read vocabulary from a different dialect than you're used to. The vast majority of English vocabulary is used or at least understood in both dialects.
How can English students find out if a word is mostly used in American English or British English, or both?
Well, some online dictionaries will mark words if they are really common in one dialect, but not at all common in the other. Also, even though the recording is of an American speaker, we'll always let you know on a Mosalingua flashcard whether the expression you're learning has a British variant. And another good place to pick up typically American or typically British expressions and vocabulary is movies and TV, especially sitcoms.
Oh, that's a good point. Some TV shows like The Office even have two different versions. And it can be interesting to compare the vocabulary and even the different styles of humor.
Very true.
So, Abby, should people who are learning English focus on American vocabulary or British vocabulary?
Well, as I said in my video about English accents, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. The most important thing is to be consistent. It would be a dead giveaway that you're not a native English speaker if you said something like, "Want to come back to my flat at the weekend for French fries?"
And speaking of accent, make sure the accent you adopt matches the vocabulary you use.
Great tip! That's all we have today. Thank you so much for joining me for this fun video, and thank you for watching.
See you later!
Bye!
If you learned something new from this video, give it a thumbs up. Then, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. Have a look around our channel for more hacks and tips. And if you're watching on another social media platform, like or follow our page. See you next time.